Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
The Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries was founded in 1909 as a soup kitchen. For more than 100 years, they have provided church services, shelter, food, and clothing for the homeless and anyone in need of help. Throughout the years, they added services to meet the needs of the ever-changing community. Those services included substance abuse treatment, transitional and permanent housing, job preparation, and educational courses. Today on the Ask the Messengers TV show, we go one-on-one with the president and CEO of the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, Dr. Chad Audi, who is here to share with us how they've handled the needs of many during this pandemic and to give us a little insight of how they are rebuilding communities one life at a time. Plus, more stories about the dangers of vaping and marijuana addiction. The Ask the Messengers TV show begins now.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Yes, we have been serving the community for almost 112 years, providing services. We started in Detroit, we expanded to Highland Park, and now we're in 5 counties providing services. We moved from just doing homeless prevention services and shelters to do more in-depth services to make sure that people get back on their feet and try to get a new beginning and become totally independent.
So, Dr. Audi, let's talk about the pandemic. So, like the rescue mission, and I'm old school, so if I say the rescue mission, I've been around, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, tell us about how you guys have managed to stay open, because you never closed your doors. You guys are 24/7, 7 days a week providing services, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So how have you handled services and providing during this pandemic time?
Well, the first thing before the pandemic started hit hard, we got ready for it. We were hearing the news, how it was hitting from Seattle to other places. And then we decided immediately to boost our protocols in the sense of making sure that our staff, as well as our guests, are all very well protected. So before everyone else before the shelves were empty of gloves and sanitizers and all the PPE equipment, we went and loaded a lot of them, and we inserted new rules at all our doors that everybody who comes in, they need to be checked for temperature. We made sure that everybody disinfectant 6 times a day, making sure that the clients who we serve are always protected as well. That resulted in making sure the people that we serve did not get as bad as even the general public had, even though we work with indigent population, but we made sure that they were very well protected, and that saved a lot of lives.
Okay.
Now, when the pandemic started hitting, and then at the same time, we started arranging new buildings to be ready so we can keep the social distance among our guests by moving them to other place and not let them go on the streets. So that actually took a little bit on the burden on us, financial burden, because we would have to open more buildings, provide more services. And for sure, at the beginning, the grants were not available. The stimulus money was not available, but we took that chance. And then when things start getting hot, we were already ready. And we kept all our door opens. We kept the same population that we serve. It did not downside. Matter of fact, we were able to take more people in.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Was there an uptick in needs that you saw once everything was stay home, stay safe, when the governor put the issue out to, when jobs start closing down? Did you see an uptick in services, people that needed services?
Yes. we had a real uptick of services for the housing component, whether it's a shelter or a permanent housing. And the reason, and it's all new population, so it wasn't really just the regular homeless. What we had, there is, when the governor said everybody stays home, and there is people who were caring for their elder people, and they were scared about their life. So they decided to move out of their homes, and they didn't have the economical means to be able to go somewhere or rent a place or live in a place. So they decided to come to us, and then we welcomed them. We welcomed them with open hearts and with open arms.
So you're saying to me that
Yeah,
people who had elders that they normally tend to gave up their homes and
they're
took
elders,
temporary shelter with you
right?
during the height of the pandemic.
That is correct. And
Wow.
that speaks to how well we were prepared, how safe our environment was. And for sure, we give kudos also to the city of Detroit, who partnered with us immediately. And they were giving us they offered, and they were actually providing their Detroit Health Department to come to our facility every other day to check on all the residents that we have, taking their temperature, checking on their if they testing them if they have COVID or not, and then we together were able to create a place isolation place for the people who have COVID,
Okay.
and so we moved them out of the so we can keep the environment very safe.
Wow. Well,
So
let me take a quick moment to deviate
sure,
from the mission and its purposes. Over 100 years, the mission has done what the mission does. Let's talk about Dr. Audi for a moment. So why do you do what you do? What makes you get up every morning and talk to people like me? No, just kidding. What makes you get up every morning? Why do you do what you do?
you know, I dedicated myself to serve God, and God clearly says that you would have to attend to the least of thee. And the least of thee could be anybody, it's not only the poor, anybody who have any obstacle in their life to have a good living requires somebody to come by them. I think God had blessed me with a good team, blessed me by leading me to an organization, the Detroit Life Commission, who have a good reputation and have the ability to provide the services that needs to be provided. And then, and I'm lucky that God put me in a very good position to acquire a lot of skills by which I can be a good servant for Him. So everything I do is basically providing service to God by doing what He asked me to do, being nice to the people that I see every single day. Right. So therefore, I'm happy with more challenges. So that's mean I'm a good soldier for Him. And then the more you see challenges, He send you more challenges this way. So I think the day that goes by without challenge, that's mean God is not happy with me. So that's why I wake up early and I come to work enthusiastic to see how I can draw back a smile, at least on somebody's face who probably lost hope or did not have the means to be happy, and create a little bit of hope or be a part of making him or making her happy again, or reconnecting a family together, or putting anything that God wanted me to do. So personally, the work that I do is because of my relationship with God.
Wow.
In a regular environment, that does not contradict with the humanitarian aspects for the people who doesn't really believe in God. So where there's people who don't believe in God, right, and we respect them and we still love them, and we will continue to provide them the services. But when you ask me about me personally, it is about my relationship with God.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers TV show when we continue our conversation with President and CEO of the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, Dr. Chad Audi. Plus, later, we will have real people sharing real stories about the dangers of vaping and their marijuana addictions. The Ask the Messengers TV show will be right back.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
Let's talk about some of this new drug addictions. You know, marijuana is legal now, right? You guys have a very huge substance abuse treatment program, which has been very successful over the years. But how are you guys handling people that come in with the marijuana? Are you guys doing anything specific for that, or what do you guys? How do you handle that?
You know, as you know, I'm a very honest person, and unfortunately, I say that marijuana is legal. Where we think, yeah, some people need to get some marijuana for medical reason or whatever. Marijuana is a dependent drugs, and people get dependent on it, and then they will become addicted, and then people don't realize that the number one drugs actually is alcohol. The second drug is marijuana, that lead to the hardest drug that people call into drugs.
Yes.
And the availability right now to our youth and to especially people who are 18, 19, 20, 21, to be able to go get marijuana and feel it's really not dangerous, and it's okay, this is a good recreational activity. It really spiked the number of the people who come to us because of depression, because of other drugs that they get to. And so there is more demand right now on substance abuse services than before.
Wow.
You know, marijuana is a good cause, leading cause for people to start thinking about suicidal attempt.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's just make you laugh or make you hungry or whatever effect does it have, or make you relax. Marijuana have a lot of issues that people don't realize. It eats your brain cells on a long term. So we don't want to do a lecture about marijuana, but I tell you that marijuana is becoming a good cause and a leading cause for an uptick of people requiring service for other substance abuse, because people are saying marijuana is not a substance abuse anymore.
Right.
For
And
us, marijuana remain a substance abuse.
Yes.
That needs treatment.
Yes.
But we can't force it on people. So same as cigarettes. Cigarette is legal, but do we help people get off cigarette? Yes or no? We do. We try.
We try.
Yeah. And then for the marijuana right now, it's become illegal, but the addiction remain a fact. So
Yes.
when people wants to get off the addiction, they come to us. But usually they don't come to us at the beginning of just a marijuana addiction.
It's already it's gatewayed them to something harder, right?
And they come, and then we will have to deal with them. So we're very proud of what we can do and how we can do it.
Right.
But it's a relationship between the person who needs the services and us providing the services.
Right.
Because we don't believe on forcing anyone to do anything. It's got to come from within. It's got to be like, I'm really tired of this and I want to get out of it. Then we will help them. And then the beauty about the Detroit Rescue Mission programs, it helps them professionally. And if they like, they can go also spiritually.
Right.
And then we link them with a great environment. We disciple them to churches. We hook them up with a nice environment that keeps them away from falling back where they try to get out of.
Right. So you guys have a guided map to help them from addiction to recovery and to stay in recovery. So
Yeah,
let me ask you this question. So many years ago, and I want you to take me through the process, and I'll just use an example. Okay, I need help. So back in the day, and you can tell me if this is still the process.
Sure.
People would come to the doors and line up at 5 o'clock, and you guys would funnel in and take in as many people until you ran out of beds. Is that still the process, or have you changed the way you accept people into the mission?
We did not deviate from the original process,
Okay.
but we added more processes for people to come into the services.
Okay.
The one that you're referring to is only for the shelter and the fooding component.
Okay.
So only for feeding. I mean, if they want to come and eat at the food kitchen, or they want to come to the shelter, in the past they used to line up and then they will come in.
Right.
This is still available, and because we don't turn anyone away, they can just come to our doors at any time and then we will let them in.
Okay.
However, there's different processes. So there's referral processes. There's a formal referral process by the city and the coordinating agencies in the city of Detroit, so people can go through, or churches, or social service organization, or other organization who meets with people.
Okay.
And then we added phone numbers. So if somebody encounter a homeless person on the streets anywhere, they can call us and we'll go pick them up. We're just making sure that we want everybody to be taken care of. And since I'm talking about this, it's important to note that a lot of people see what they display themselves homeless on the
viaducts and the corners. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, and then we get a lot of call about those guys. Hey, why don't you go and pick up that homeless guy? Not all of them are homeless. This is their job.
Yes, please. Can we talk about that part?
Yeah,
can we talk about that part?
Yeah.
The guy that's standing out there on the corner begging you for $1, because they've done stories on those that are so true. They live in big fancy homes. So okay, I'm sorry.
I cannot generalize, but most of them are. So, and because I say this out of knowledge, because we took a van, I personally got in a van with at least 3 staff, and then we went on the cold days to those corners, whether it's 8 Mile and Lodge, or in downtown Detroit, or 4th Street, or on 75. We went to every one of those guys or ladies who are standing. And we said, hey, we're here to pick you up and take you we want to feed you. We want to let you get a shower. We want to give you clothing. We want to try to get you a job. They cussed us out and they kicked us. And they said, don't come here no more. And even though the approach that we took with them, because we did it on a Valentine's Day, so we bought flowers, roses, and we came to them and we gave them a rose, and we said, "Can we talk to you?" And then we start engaging them into conversation if they would come. Those individuals are not the homeless people that they really need help.
Right.
Though most of them are people who do it in shifts. You actually go every day, you say the same person, and they change by shifts. And they live, and we discovered some of them where they live. They live in some motels and hotels on 9 miles. We went over there. We went to their own place and we talked to them. We saw how they're gathering into their rooms and what they're doing in their rooms of smoking crack, and shooting heroin and a lot of other stuff. So, and then you got the other ones who makes a lot of money, and we heard a lot of them on the news.
Yes.
So I'm just saying this not to go down on those people or say, hey, don't help them. If God puts it in your heart, you need to help such a person, go ahead and do it. But we're saying for our services, because we say we put a number out and we go and pick up people, and why you're not picking those guys? We tried. And I assure you, we tried more than once.
Okay.
and we know them by names, and they know us now by face.
Wow.
It is not an issue of, we're not really trying to get the homeless to a much better status and get them to get back on their feet. So
And
when
I'm
we're talking
glad you
about,
clarified that
yeah,
because
but when we put the numbers, but there's areas where some person walking in the downtown area or outside the downtown, in any of the neighborhood, and they see a person struggling, a person sitting, taking a cover, those are homeless and they
yes.
need care. We pick them up. And more than that, we really don't like people. I mean, we try as much as we can to help people into their homes. If we can do prevention of homelessness, we like to do it this way. So if there is a family, somebody knows of a family that they're struggling and they need some support when they are still home, we like to go and help them in their homes, bringing them food, bringing them resources, and let them stay in their homes. Connect them with actual resources. We have even lawyers who are willing to work with us on a volunteer basis. So somebody have an issue with their electrical bill, somebody have an issue with the credit card, somebody have issue with anything that might cause them to become homeless, we will hook them up with the appropriate services so they won't lose what they have and end up being in the shelter. We're proud of our services at the shelter and at a treatment and everything else, but it's better because eventually, what are we trying to do? Move them from shelter to permanent housing, which is their homes already. So if we can keep them in their homes so they don't have to go to that cycle,
Right.
we'll be doing a great job.
We appreciate Dr. Audi for taking time to be our guest today and sharing all the wonderful things that they do at the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries. We thank him for his passion and what they do to help rebuild communities one life at a time. Stay tuned for more from the Ask the Messengers TV show. When we come back, you will hear from real people sharing real stories about their addiction to vaping and marijuana.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
My drug of choice was marijuana. My brother, he got me in the basement and he asked me did I want to try it. First time I hit it, I started laughing. I felt like I didn't have any worries. I kept being homeless year after year after year. No matter if I had a job, no matter if I was staying somebody, it's just, I was still not getting the end result of really being happy with what I had or who I was around.
I started vaping when I was probably in 8th or 9th grade. Life is not easy, like school's not easy, friendships are not easy, but you need to make it through this hard point in your life so that you can have your future. And addictive chemicals aren't going to help you get there.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Ask the Messengers TV show. We hope something you heard today helped you in some way to understand addiction and to give anyone struggling the desire to surrender and seek help. Until next time, may you seek a power greater than yourself so that you too can turn your mess into a message that will help save lives. Continue to stay safe and most importantly, be kind and love one another.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.